So this is Rabi Arshad. I'm a PhD fellow at UBC. I'm studying PhD in electrical and computer engineering, and I'm in first year of my PhD. So this talk is about the graduate admissions, the research-based degrees, masters and PhDs all around the world. We will be talking about the key requirements that are needed while applying abroad and the scholarship opportunities. We will talk about how can you fund your degrees if you don't get a scholarship, or how to get a scholarship. So it's kind of a comprehensive presentation, and we are going to cover each and everything related to graduate admissions. And by the end of the session, we will be having a question answer session, and where you can ask anything you want. So it's kind of a good opportunity for all of you to raise your queries and raise your concerns and questions. So let's begin. So why studying abroad? Most of you people have different sets of goals and objectives. Someone wants to see the world. Someone really likes to have quality education. And most of the people go for the personal development because they think that if they're studying in an international environment, they will build up their personality, they will build up some confidence in their personality. And the last thing about the career opportunities, which is important for all of us. So all of the audience lies, most of the audience lies in this thing that after studying abroad, we are going to have good career opportunities. So setting up goals and objectives. This is really important. You need to look up for your interest. For instance, you need to highlight why do you want to study. For instance, if you can say that you wanted to study because you wanted to get a part-time job, or you wanted to go to Canada, or you wanted to go to Australia and you want to run out of Pakistan, and then you enroll yourself in a research-based degree, and then you're not able to cope with that degree, and you are going to end up with nothing because you didn't really want to study and your objectives were quite different. At least there should be some interest in the studies which you are pursuing for. So do some homework, gather some information, and prepare your application. This homework is really important to do because this is just the beginning. Once you start doing some homework, you get to know about other things, and then you gather information, and then you prepare your application. I'm really sorry for this noise. I think my neighbor is doing something and I have no control over that. So please let me know if this noise is really annoying you. So about the video, actually this is just a presentation, and by the end of this presentation, I will turn on the video if you guys want to see me. Okay, that's perfectly all right. So first, let's have this presentation for 15 minutes, and then we can start the video. Okay. So what's your homework? Your homework should be beginning with checking universities and their respective deadlines. Deadlines vary from one university to another and from one program to another, and you have to shortlist some universities. For instance, if your profile is really good enough, you're having 3.575 GPA, some research or some professional experience, sorry, and good GRE score, good TOEFL score, then you're good to go. And you can, I would encourage you to apply to top 50 schools around the world. So here you need to shortlist some universities where you want to apply for. You can get help from QS World Ranking. You can check the universities by subject at the QS World Ranking website. And then you can go from there to the university website, and from university website to the departmental website to see the deadlines, the key requirements. Do they want me to contact the professor? What are the scholarship opportunities? And then try to organize your findings. Just jot it down. If you're going to try to memorize these findings, it's not going to work. So you have to jot it down and make a list that is really comprehensive and has a lot of information about the research you have conducted while finding universities and the scholarships. So contacting potential supervisors is always recommended. So it doesn't depend where you're applying. It's always recommended to contact potential supervisors. But in some cases, it might not be mandatory, but in others, it might be mandatory as well. So you need to see, you need to check the university's website if it is mandatory or not. And then send quality emails, avoid form letters. Quality emails, this is the very first thing that makes a very good impression to the professor whom you write an email. If you're writing some form letters or writing a generic email that you have made it for each and every university, then it's not gonna work. Because professors assume that you have gone check their website, you have checked their interests, and your interest aligned with their interest. So such things should be reflected in your emails. So you have to send some quality emails. And remember one thing, do not contact more than one professor from the same department at a time. It gives a very bad impression. So just keep this thing in your mind. Write an email to the professor, wait for a week or so, because some professors even take 1 week to reply. And if he doesn't reply, then you can contact any other professor in the same department at the same university. So I'm seeing a comment that there is no slide. Could you guys please tell me if you are able to see the slides? Can you please comment if you are able to see the slides? Okay. Okay, so Tara, you need to recheck. Maybe you can just refresh your browser and join the session again, because I guess the slides are working and everybody is viewing the slides. So thank you very much, guys, for your response. Okay, let's resume. So here's a typical example of my field that that was like 3 years ago when I was trying to find some master opportunities. So here, what I did, I shortlisted some universities. I checked about their deadlines, their GRE IELTS requirements, any available scholarships they had. So I just jotted down. So it really helped me actually. I can always track for the deadlines, for the requirements, and it's really easy. And for my PhD, when I was searching for PhD, it's quite a long list. So you actually get to get improved by the passage of time, and once go from one university to another, your thinking is changed, and you somehow you get more productive, you could say, or but with experience you get to know a lot of things actually. So just this is the very basic typical example. So you might have some good ideas for that. So these are the important dates that you need to clear off. So the spring sessions, the deadlines are usually from May to July. And for the fall sessions, it's from mid-December to mid-January. Usually most of the universities offer the fall sessions. And during the fall sessions, you can say that professors have a lot of slots. And for the spring sessions, even the professors have limited slots. So your target should be the fall session because it has a lot of slots and most of the universities offer admissions in the fall sessions. But still you need to recheck by visiting each and every university's website and the departmental website because it varies from one department to another and from one university to another. So these are the application materials that you would be required to have while applying for any university. So these are the generic requirements. One is the online application form that you would be filling online and you will submit it. The other one, the next thing is academic records or your transcripts. Some universities in US also need your transcripts in a sealed envelope and you have to send these transcripts to them after you apply. So it's not like you receive an offer and then you're sending the transcripts. So it varies from one university to another. So, but in all other countries, it's not a common practice that you send that your transcripts in the hot as a hard copy before getting the admission. You usually get the admission first, and then they ask you to send your original transcripts in sealed envelopes. The next thing about GRE general scores, a lot of people are wondering if GRE somewhere is not mandatory, so should we go for that? I would suggest you that you should go for GRE. It's really important. The thing is, when you're applying internationally in an international environment where there are hundreds of thousands of applicants, then you should show the best profile you have. Maybe the other guys would be having GRE score as well. So don't give any loose point, any loose mark. So just prepare your GRE, take TOEFL, take IELTS. And a lot of guys also wondering that should we take TOEFL or IELTS? If can't we go with the proficiency letter that we get from the university? Just note that this proficiency letter is not accepted worldwide. I mean, it's only a couple of universities that do accept this letter, but it also depends on the professor, also depends on the department. And these universities for sure don't lie within the top 100 or top 50 universities in the world. So I would recommend you that you should, the very first two things that you need to do is to take GRE and TOEFL or IELTS. It's really important. Either you should go for TOEFL or IELTS. Let me clarify something. In US, if you're planning to apply in US, so you have to take TOEFL. Most of the universities require TOEFL. And if you want to apply somewhere else, not US, then you can always go for IELTS. By the way, TOEFL is also accepted all over the world. So if you are planning if you are comfortable with IELTS, but if you're planning to apply to US as well, so don't go for IELTS. Then the research experience is highly important. For those who have already graduated, I would suggest you guys to have some sort of research experience, try working on some research, get a conference or a journal publication. It will really help you to land in a good position, to land in a good university. Then the application essays. Application essays are kind of SOPs. And these SOPs are required to be written by you. It reflects your background, your experience, your motivation, why you want to pursue study in this particular field, and a lot of things about you. So this essay is really important while applying. So this is the very first thing that they see after shortlisting you based on the GRE, GPA. This is the very first thing they see. So this is highly important. Then comes the resume, recommendation letters, and application fee. So recommendation letters are again very, very important. So let me tell you something. I got the best scholarship in UBC. This is Alhamdulillah. I mean, this is just the best scholarship in UBC. And I had not been interviewed for this scholarship or for the admission in UBC. My admission was solely based on the recommendation. The professor sent me an email that I will decide once I receive the recommendation letter from your referees. So it really works. Try to find someone who is famous in research, who is doing a great job in research, and try to get the letter from that person. If you're working and you're applying, working in like any company like Mobilink or whatever. So that is not research-based job, and you are applying for an the research-based degree program. Then I would suggest you that you can take one recommendation letter from your employer and two recommendation letters from your professors, because for the research-based programs, they expect that you provide them the letters taken from the supervisors or the professors, because they want to evaluate your research capabilities. The next thing is application fee. Application fee is associated with most of the applications all around the world. All the good universities do have application fee, and it varies from $70 to $120 US. So it's kind of an investment actually. You're investing on your application, and by the end you will get benefit out of it. So once you apply online, then you are contacted by either the professor or the admission team, and then admission team is kind of is kind of a team that bridge the gap between you and professor. So you might be interviewed by the professor, and the professor would ask you the questions about your related to your CV, whatever you have written there, and about your research experience, if any, or employment experience, if any. And some professors might ask some technical things related to your field. So it totally depends and varies from one professor to another. But the good thing is, once you receive a call from a professor, try to contact his students. Try to write them an email and try to get them on Skype and have a conversation with them before applying, before appearing on the interview. It will really help you a lot. You will get a feeling, okay, what sort of things professor is gonna ask. So it's really helpful. And then once you are being interviewed by the professor, it's a good opportunity to ask about the scholarships that if the university or the professor do offer scholarship. So it's a very good opportunity and time to ask. Let's talk about the scholarship opportunities. As I mentioned before, usually all the websites publish the scholarships online. All the scholarships information is available online on the websites. And there are two types of scholarships, especially if you talk about Canada, there are two types of scholarships. One is the entrance scholarship that you get it before coming. The other one is the running scholarship. Once you get admission, you can apply for that scholarship. So most of the people don't know about these scholarships. I have got both, alhamdulillah. So if you're unable to get the entrance scholarship, you still have a hope that you might get scholarship later on. So it's not like that you have to plan for 2 years that how I'm gonna have money and stuff like that. So there are so many opportunities, especially in Canada, there are so many scholarship opportunities, and there are so many scholarships you could apply for. The good thing for the entrance scholarships at most of the universities, there is no separate application. If you're applying to Australia, within the application, there will be a check, do you want to apply for international postgraduate scholarship? You just need to tick that box. Even applying for Canada, they just receive your application and they do have a lot of entrance scholarships. Then they evaluate your application for the admission as well as for the scholarship. So look something. I would like to share that once I received an offer from UBC, the University of British Columbia, I didn't get the admission letter. I got the scholarship letter first. That was so surprising that I didn't get an admission yet and I'm getting the scholarship. Doesn't it sound so cool? So it depends from one university to another. And then you have a lot of other opportunities. You can work part-time, you can work as a TA or research assistant opportunities. If you talk about Canada especially, master students are usually covered by the teaching assistant and the research assistant opportunities. That will cover your stipend as well as your tuition fee. So like entrance scholarships are not like kind of university entrance scholarships are not that many in Canada. Master scholarships are usually based, depend on the professor. So here professors have a lot of grants and they can fund your masters. And then comes the part-time job opportunities. If you are unable to get any kind of scholarship, you can always work part-time. So the part-time wage is like $15 per hour in Canada. And you just need to focus on one thing, that in all the countries, everything is, you can say that correlated. For instance, if someone is getting $30 somewhere for a part-time job per hour, maybe the living standards would be so high there. And if someone is getting like $10 in Canada at some place, maybe the living standard is too low. So you can always manage. So part-time job opportunities, you can work either in the university or outside the university. The good thing about working inside the university is like you don't have that strict timelines or hours to work. I mean, if, for example, on a study permit here in Canada, you're allowed to work for 20 hours a week. So, but if you're working inside campus, so maybe you can consider it as a full-time job and you're just bunking your classes and working as a part-time there. I've seen a lot of students who just freeze their semester sometimes and then they work for a semester or so to gather the tuition fee for the next semesters. Even I have seen a lot of students who are doing multiple part-time jobs. at the same time. So here you can ask anything you want. So now I can turn off the slides and how can I do that? Let me see.